everybody. Boy, fellas,
Yes.
friends, homies.
Lovers. Perfect. It was Kevin Week.
Kevin
Yay!
Week.
Kevin Week.
Confetti.
We've been celebrating Kevin all week by ignoring him until Wednesday.
I've been
Correct.
looking forward to Kevin Week for the past 2 weeks. The whole time during Sam Week, the whole time during Tom Week, I was thinking, oh boy, Kevin Week's coming up. Can't wait.
Yep.
I picked 3 movies. Couldn't decide. Rolled a dice. We let fate decide.
Fate fucked us.
First movie we watched was Crystal or
Crackdown?
Gridlocked.
Gridlocked.
Come on, guys. It's not that hard.
No, it is. It's the most generic movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's shot. Everything's so flat. Everything's so dull.
It had some kind of high names in it. Well, at least people that are recognizable.
Well, that's 90% of why I picked it. It's got like Vinnie Jones and the guy from
Avatar.
and then Trish Stratus, who was my favorite female wrestler growing up. Did we get to a point in the movie where we saw Trish Stratus?
No.
No, we turned it off before she even showed up.
It's true.
So because it was Kevin Week, I called an audible. So we switched to Capricorn 1, which again
Correct.
was only picked because of the people in it. Sam Watterson, the gentleman from
Law and Order.
Law and Order. James Brolin, the father of Josh Brolin, the husband of Barbra Streisand. And who was the third?
O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson. That's who it was.
That guy that was famous for being a football player. in the
Yeah, he was the
70s.
first player to
Yeah,
rush for
nothing
2,000 yards in a
else,
season.
right?
In a shortened season, in 14 games as opposed to 16 games, the first NFL player to rush for 2,000 yards in a season. Heisman winner at USC,
Yep.
Pro Football Hall of Fame, actor.
Wow, what happened to
Is
this
there
guy?
anything else that he's like known for?
Well, I think he was sentenced to jail time after some trumped-up charges of just trying to get some of his football memorabilia back.
just
from
a
some
horrible
guy.
misunderstanding.
But other than that, according to the law, he had done nothing
He
wrong.
has done nothing wrong in his life. Yep.
Yep.
But he did murder those 2 people, and he got away with it.
Yeah,
so.
he fucking stabbed his wife to
Yeah.
death.
They,
Like 36 times or something
I
like
don't
that?
remember.
The police beat Rodney King 2 years before, and then they gave OJ a free pass because of it. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
neat. So that's why I picked this movie.
Wow, you boiled it down to just that, huh?
I summarized 6 hours of OJ documentaries that ESPN did. Is Rodney King got beat, and then 2 years later, everyone was like, fuck the LAPD. We're gonna give OJ a pass on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't deserve it.
No.
Because he was like, fuck black people, I'm OJ.
Yeah. Seriously. They make a really good point in the Netflix series, which I know you never watch because you don't like episodic TV.
I don't like
but
TV.
That's true.
Where the Chris Darden, the gentleman playing Chris Darden, who was one of the prosecuting attorneys,
Yeah.
was like, he's like, look around when he's talking to a bunch of his neighbors who are black and they're having a cookout, being like, go OJ, fuck yeah. And he's like, well, look around, man. Like, how many parks do you see named after OJ? Like, none. He's like, he didn't give back to his community.
Yeah.
He got out of it when he got to the NFL, and he became the whitest black person of all time, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he like buddied up to the cops and all these white actors and all these people. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he never cared. Now, there's nothing wrong with getting a bunch of money and buying a house in an affluent neighborhood and being friends with the people you live with,
Right.
but
There is something wrong with stabbing people to death.
there
in
is
their home.
for sure.
Yeah.
So, what's the movie about?
You know who else was in the news that people really wanted to give the benefit of the doubt, but he totally like squashed that?
Who's
R.
that?
Kelly.
Yeah.
You see that bizarre
Yeah.
shit that's coming out about R. Kelly?
Well, it's not even.
Whoa.
I would say it's not even the benefit of the doubt. It's literally like everyone knows about it, but
No, yeah, there's that
What are
whole
you gonna
Boondocks
do?
episode about it. Those
That's true.
But there's the Chappelle Show sketch about.
That's true. No. But like the weird, like grooming women.
Yeah, all that new stuff.
It just got worse and worse. Like his singing couldn't elevate that plane. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it was angled up, and the engines are going full throttle, but for some reason it kept falling.
That graph, there was a point where they intersected and everyone went, okay, this isn't cool anymore.
Yeah. People gave up on it. Just like they gave up on Michael Jackson. Another one where you're just like, yeah, he probably fucked those kids.
Yeah, he probably did.
Yeah, and there's that new documentary that came out.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch it, actually.
Yeah, a lot of kiddie porn and shit.
Yeah, he talk about grooming, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the movie about?
All right, well, if we're going to actually talk about the movie, so do you want me to just read the back?
Before we get started, I just want to really quick take a quick survey of the room. OJ did kill those 2 people, right? Based on all the DNA evidence and circumstantial, and basically everything.
Yes.
Well, OJ didn't kill those people according to the law.
A jury of his peers.
There we go.
He was found not guilty.
Yes.
Of the 2 crimes.
But I hasten
of.
to say that I found him guilty in my heart.
Yes.
In my big fat white heart, I thought that he was probably guilty.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't think I'm going to lose any black person in our non-existent audience.
Yeah.
Because they're at this point, people are probably like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Nothing I can really do about it now.
Well, also, I think that the later generation probably doesn't give a shit.
No. The OJ thing is such a weird...
And I've heard a lot of backlash. I almost said blacklash.
Backlash, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I heard a lot of backlash from black people about OJ just basically being kind of a cunt.
The OJ trial's so weird because...
And they wrote that book.
Yeah, I have a copy of that, by the way.
If I did it?
I found it at Goodwill. It's amazing.
Well, it was ghostwritten, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally...
So
if I did it.
Yeah.
I love how they did the
It was
cover,
written
though,
by the
with that.
ghost of his murdered
Yeah.
ex-wife.
Exactly.
Wow.
OJ murdered me by Nicole Brown
There's so
Simpson.
many
yeah.
layers to that.
Yeah.
It's like, I still write your book.
Yeah.
I love that, like, I'm innocent. It'll make a lot of money. He'll be like,
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah.
Okay.
Because like immediately afterwards, the Goldmans filed a civil suit
yeah.
for like wrongful death, and he was found guilty in that.
Oh,
and he,
yeah,
and he was
yeah.
ordered to pay like $14 million or something. And then OJ was like, liquidate all my assets, fucking get rid of everything. And he
Was
sold
that
his
that
house.
wasn't a trial or a jury?
No, that was a
ruling.
civil
That was a
suit.
judge
Yeah.
ruling, yeah.
It was completely different. And he was found.
So, like, a judge with common sense was like, oh, yeah, he fucking killed those people.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
I love that
Yep.
shit. I fucking love that.
Yep.
How many times does that happen throughout history where it goes to trial, they're acquitted, then civil suit comes, and they're just guilty as fuck? And, like,
Probably more often than you'd,
oh,
Yeah.
it's so much.
for sure.
We should just talk about court cases one time.
Yeah. So in the movie, they go to Mars, but what's really interesting about the OJ trial is like, we're all around the same age, right?
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
turned
yeah,
29,
yeah.
28.
I'm turning 28 soon.
Yeah.
24.
24. So in our lifetime, in our conscious lifetime, OJ's always been the guy who like probably murdered those two people.
Yeah, totally.
Like before then, he was the face of Hertz Rent-A-Car. He was a movie star. He was the first player to rush for 2,000 yards in the NFL.
I never knew
He was the
anything about
face-
him other than...
Exactly. So like it's so weird to compare his level of celebrity to now he's on trial for murder. Like I'm trying to compare it. Like it's like if Chris Pratt, like that level of celebrity.
No, it's like if Kevin Hart
Yeah, you're totally right.
killed his wife
Yeah.
in cold blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was on trial for killing his wife and then
Yeah.
just another person.
He was huge.
Yeah, it's insane the level of media scrutiny that. And that's what's so weird. It like cameras were never really allowed in court cases like that beforehand. This was kind of like the first one. But
Yeah.
you got to see it play out daily. There was so much evidence and so much kind of new science being presented. Like DNA was in its infancy.
Yep.
There was so much technical stuff that the prosecuting didn't do a good job of explaining necessarily. Like DNA, we kind of all understand now, but like if you were trying to explain DNA to someone in 1994,
Yeah, I didn't connect with the jury because they had no frame of reference.
exactly. And the defense kind of just throw everything at the wall, see what sticks. The police were either bumbling idiots and they fucked up all the DNA that was
Or they
collected.
were devious
Exactly.
people who hated OJ
who
because of how
planted
famous he was.
Exactly.
Oh, that was the narrative.
That
Yes,
was the
that was
narratives
the
they were.
narrative.
Okay,
So
I
like
thought
they
you were
were
saying there were actually cops that, like, on
No,
top
no,
of
no.
the actual evidence, were trying to plant stuff.
That's what they were proposing, and then there was also
With like the glove and stuff.
yeah the glove that was found at Rockingham, which is OJ's house, which was like a mile or two from the murder scene. So there was blood at the murder scene. There was a fuck ton of blood at the murder scene, and then there was blood found at OJ's house,
Yeah.
where like the two gloves were. And it also didn't help that Mark Furman, who was the detective who found the glove, and like he was one of the first officers there, lied under oath that he was interviewed for like a book or something. That
Didn't he not follow like proper chain of command,
It-
like
yeah,
evidence
it-
chain of command?
It was a little bit of that, but he also like sued the city of Los Angeles that being a cop made him racist.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's why he couldn't be prosecuted for some crime a couple years ago of like a beating of a African American gentleman, and then
Wait, so becoming a cop turned
made him
racist?
racist because he was.
Sucks.
I know, and go.
You go in, you're like, I'm gonna help this city, and then you're
And
just
then-
like, I hate
I hate everyone.
black people.
Yeah,
I hate
that's
the
what-
Asian
yeah.
world.
Yep.
And right before the trial, he was interviewed by someone like working on a screenplay of like his time as an LAPD officer, and he's on tape saying these like horrific shit of like, every time I say black people, it's Mark Furman saying the N-word, where he's like, you never trust anything that comes out of a black person's mouth. We've beaten black people to pulps, and like no one will ever trust a black person over a cop, and fuck black people basically. So he's
Yeah.
on
Good
tape
look.
saying yeah. And then during the interviews, they were like, "Have you ever said anything negative about a black person?" He goes, "Nope, no, of course not." So he just perjured himself.
Yeah.
So later when they bring him in after all this shit comes in, he starts pleading the fifth about like, "Have you ever said this?" I plead the fifth, blah blah blah. And then the defense attorney was like, "Have you ever planted evidence?" Which is the perfect question to ask, because if he says no, well, he already lied about that. So he can't say yes if he did or not. So he pleads the fifth on that, which causes probable doubt. So that trial's fascinating and so fucked up.
Yeah, and then not to mention the world was pissed off about Rodney King.
Rodney King 2 years earlier, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And the whole Chris Darden trying on the glove thing, which I know is like kind of a bit of a pre-internet meme.
Well, it's also like a you can't do anything right kind of situation where it's so fucked up that you don't. I can see as a black person saying to myself, fuck these people.
Yeah.
Fuck the whole system.
Yeah.
I don't care if he killed those people. I don't care.
Yeah.
I want him to go free because fuck them.
It's one of those like when the Furman tapes came out and he's like,
Yeah.
cops will purposely fuck with black people. Like,
Yeah.
it's all that prejudice you've felt, and you're like, it's literally on fucking tape. This dude saying it, fuck him, fuck the LAPD.
Right.
So I get it.
Yeah.
But O.J. Simpson did murder those two people
Yes.
based on pretty much all the evidence. So
And played that card hard when he never did before. Because O.J. Simpson's like, I love Gatorade. And then when it comes to the trial, he's like, Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I mean? He's like,
a weird thing that fucking happened. They took the jury to tour OJ's house for some fucking reason during the trial, and they knew it was happening. So the defense went into his house and like staged the house and put up all this African American art and pictures of his mom.
oh, yeah.
And like everyone was like, who knew OJ was like, that's not his fucking house. It was all like his Hesiman and him meeting the mayor and him with the police and like,
yeah.
like literally Johnny Cochran took art from his own house, like all of this like black empowerment art, and put it up in OJ's house. Like, could you fucking imagine that? Like tampering with someone's house to make them appear more black?
yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
like you can imagine it, but like how fucked up that is.
No, that almost seems more likely today than it did back then.
Sure.
It seemed more taboo back then.
Yeah.
Now it's just like anything fucking goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, our politics has devolved into just lie to people's faces.
Yeah.
The truth doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Anyway, so we watch a dumb fucking
Yeah,
movie.
so
So
O.J.
this
Simpson's
movie
in
was
this
from
movie.
before he murdered those people.
Yeah.
hey,
Brought
so-
back around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you want me to read this?
I mean,
We can kind of just talk about it.
it the concept's really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. Of like did they say they faked the moon landing?
No.
Okay,
no.
but
They said it was real in that.
they said it was real in that, but they were so worried about the Mars.
So I guess
They're-
according to the back of this, the life support systems had come back that they would have failed.
Okay.
So that's why they pulled them.
Okay. Yeah.
But they knew that in advance for a while.
So yeah, 3 gentlemen going to Mars, and then right before launch, they pull them out.
Yeah, literally like 30 seconds.
Pretty much.
They show up, they open up the hatch, and they're like, you gotta come with us instantly. And none of them question it.
No.
They're like, fine, okay, geez.
fine.
And they all unhook,
Yeah.
take out the tubes that connected to their suits, and walk away.
Yep. Take them to a set. It's like the Mars set, and they're like, we're going to be staging it because we need this to work. We can't have this to fail. So they wait the requisited like 300-ish days. it
No,
takes
no,
to-
they don't. They wait 5 months. It's half the time.
Yeah, pretty much. But they wait enough time to be like, they got there, and then they feed the video. But the whole time they're just hanging out.
We see this guy who works at NASA. He's seen the television feeds are coming in much closer than they would be and much faster. So he keeps trying to be like, hey, something's wrong with the numbers. It doesn't make sense. And they're like, don't worry about it. We'll look into it. But once they land, they do that. And he says, hey, the numbers are wrong again. And they're just like, oh, now we have a problem.
Yeah, he's starting to kind of figure out something's iffy.
How much good do you have to do to, like, justify murder?
Wow, you're still on that, huh?
Well, in OJ's case, it's basically cold blood.
Yeah.
Based on kind of what everyone can kind of piece together, OJ went to confront his ex-wife because his ex-wife was home and their kids were home. That's what's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Two kids with Nicole, and they were upstairs sleeping. Went to confront his ex-wife. Something happened. OJ Simpson murdered 2 people.
Yes.
What I think happened was
He did it.
He started doing it. Ron Goldman came in, who was like a waiter, and I think OJ thought he was fucking her. I don't know.
I believe he thought
There's
they were
also
together,
a witness.
Yes.
And a witness.
And a witness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta
So-
kill your witnesses. And I know, but, like, OJ, say he was a better dude. And he, like, did more for the black community.
Sure.
Raised money for shit. Mm-hmm. Like, saved some lives somehow.
Yeah.
You know?
Just yeah.
Yeah, so he gets a pass. It's a one
Right,
in,
like,
one
how
out type of
much-
thing. He saved 2 lives, so he can take 2 away.
How much? But I'm serious. Like, it culturally, how much do you have to do to be forgiven?
I don't think there is a balance.
I mean, the only justification I can see is like saving someone from already actively being assaulted or murdered.
Well, my thought is
and
like,
then murdering them.
there's obviously a line somewhere because, like, my grandfather probably ordered his tanks to kill people in World War II, but on the whole, we could probably say that stopping Hitler was a
The greater
net positive, and the people who participated
Yeah.
are worth celebrating as heroes.
That's what's kind of so weird to me. Not to get off topic, but I'm definitely going to get way off topic. My version of Man of Steel, the movie where he like fights Zod, where he's like, "I'm not going to kill you, Zod." I think my version of Superman would weigh the lives and the damage caused by Zod versus just killing Zod.
Yeah.
Killing this alien who's like, I'm going to kill all these humans. I think my version of Superman would weigh the options and go, it's one alien life versus all these humans I'm trying to protect.
Yeah, but then he crashed through those buildings himself. And
But
killed
that's
a
what I'm
bunch of
saying.
people.
Zack Snyder, you don't get a fucking sweet action scene doing that, dude. Fucking Superman just running up and snapping his neck and going like,
Well,
fuck, I really didn't want to do that, but...
I think Superman is always, in his good stuff, has towed that line.
Yeah.
Like, a good written Superman is a Superman that is pragmatic.
He
about,
has to weigh those
he'll like
things.
weigh numbers and
Yeah.
say, like, in the Justice League cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
Superman was a lot like that, where like people's freedom is less important than their safety. To where it got to the point where like the Justice League was looking like this, like fucking just silver Goliath shimmering through the sky with death lasers that could like end armies. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
And-
kind of like Injustice as
And
well.
Superman like was like, yes, that's can be distressing to them, but under my control, it's fine. Whereas Batman is kind of the foil to that, where he absolutely refuses to kill anyone.
No, he weighs that too.
Oh, sure.
Like Batman.
Well, it
Endgame.
depends on who writes him.
yeah, there's
Batman
been...
Endgame, he definitely does, especially like Death of a Family as
But
well.
I'm saying as an
like the
archetype
newer
as a
ones.
whole, Batman's very anti.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it without killing anybody.
Yeah.
Whereas Superman's always like, half a dozen of one, half a dozen of the other. You know. Superman's a lot more pragmatic.
For sure.
I like Batman better.
I like Superman.
I think everyone does, but Batman, you could fault Batman for being the more idealistic one and less grounded. His ideals are more important to him than the results, because every time he lets the Joker go, the Joker escapes and does more shit. Like, if he just ended the Joker, it would be...
Well,
So much easier
which
for
Joker are we
Batman.
talking about?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no,
Whatever
no.
you're about to do, I'm not doing that.
I know Sam enough to not ask that question. We're
because
vague
you
doing
can't.
this.
Comic books are literally a medium that has been written by 1,000 people. These fucking characters have been rewritten over and over again, and one character from another, they're completely different things. I'm just talking about the general archetype. Because well, Superman and blah 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 was evil, and he fist fucked Supergirl, and it was terrible. You know what I mean? Like we could go at this all day, but if we're talking just archetypes, damn it.
Yeah, just the overall sense. I think Batman obviously knows it'd be so much easier to kill all these villains, and I don't got to deal with them anymore. Fuck it. But that's not right.
But there's an argument to be made that's more irresponsible.
That's what I'm saying. He knows that, like, that's not my fucking job to kill these people.
Well, if there's no crime,
it's more
there's no Batman.
irresponsible to let them live.
No, I know.
Because
and that's
only begets more.
Exactly. That's why he does it, because if there's no crime, there's no Batman, and he can't not be Batman.
But you could argue the same with Superman.
Superman's still Superman. He's Clark Kent. He still has a job
No,
and shit.
but without conflict, he ceases to have any
I would
value.
disagree wholeheartedly.
Superman.
Superman's the only one who has all these powers and just wants to be a normal dude. He just wants a job. He just wants a girlfriend.
that's true.
But he's the only one. He's the big kid in the sandbox, having to like push everyone down. He's being a bully. Like it's his job. He doesn't necessarily want to. Again, my ideal version of Superman. I heard a really good quote. Superman isn't Superman because he can fly and he has laser eyes and super strength. Superman is Superman because two parents from Kansas raised their kid correctly. That's what makes him Superman.
Yeah, and Batman didn't have parents.
I think that's the only thing that kept from being, for all intents and purposes, a god. It was that, like, upbringing, that kind of forced humility that...
There's a version of Superman called Red Sun, where
Red
instead
Sun.
of crashing in Kansas, he crashes
Well, and there's like a
in
negative
Moscow.
Superman in the Justice League show that just is
What do you mean Bizarro?
Superman that said, you know what, fuck all this. I'm gonna just take care of it all, and I don't care if people have rights as long as they're safe.
And that's what's so weird about the Suicide Squad movie that came out was basically like Superman landed and he's on our side. That's fucking great, but the next one might not be.
Yeah.
So we need to assemble a team to get rid of him. But it's like it's fucking Harley Quinn with a baseball bat. Like what the fuck's she gonna do against Superman and Zod? Like it's fucking weird. I think the Suicide Squad's cool, but
they're remaking it.
Yeah,
No,
thank God.
I think you're right that taken at his best, Superman is a good kid from Kansas.
Yeah, that's why I'm so excited for Brightburn.
That's my ideal version of
But
Superman.
there is a pragmatism to Superman. And like an American born in the Midwest, killing people is an option, you know?
Sure.
But in his education, I'm sure Uncle Ben or whatever was a gun-toting, or that's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The necessary killing is in that moral framework, whereas Batman's like, no.
Yeah.
He's way more metropolitan about it,
Well,
which makes sense because
Batman, he saw his parents die, and he's like, I don't want anyone to die. Like, I'm not going to get into
he also
chill and everything.
Thinks
like
so highly of himself.
Well, yeah, he believes he
to
is the
say,
only one that can
I can
ever
do it without killing anyone.
Exactly. He believes he's the only thing that protects God.
I don't think with Batman it's a struggle. Like his ideals are firm.
Yeah.
He's not. There's no conflict. Whereas Superman, I feel like there's because there is benefit to killing a cow in pain as much as there is a benefit to killing Zod. I mean, there's an argument to be made that that's the moral thing to do.
Exactly.
Whereas Batman he's signed that
we
check.
do not.
He's like,
Yep.
I'm absolutely not.
Yep.
So OJ was in a movie we watched.
Yeah, no, he was in the movie.
Also killed 2 people.
Also, his ex-wife and that waiter. I know you enjoyed
Yes,
the
I
movie
did
for the
enjoy
most
this
part.
movie. But I also really like slow burns.
I was going to say, even you could agree that it takes a long time to do something.
But I don't mind that in movies.
Okay,
we are
we're going to bring
halfway
you
through
back
the
from
movie, but-
faking the Mars landing. Oh shit, your shuttle blows up.
There's this reporter who's friends with the NASA scientist who's figured out something's wrong, and he starts telling him, and then suddenly he disappears, off the face of the planet. There's a great scene where he goes to the guy's house the next day, and this woman answers the door, and he's like, okay, so this is 228. And she's like, yes, but you might have the wrong
yeah,
building.
that was
He's like,
actually really cool.
No, I don't have the wrong building. This is this address, and my friend has lived here for as long as I've known him. I know this apartment. And she's like, no, I've lived here over a year. And he like pushes past her. He's like, I can prove that this is his apartment. And he's looking over everything. And they show that the magazines
Is in
have
her
name
name.
and
Yeah.
everything. And it's just a really like, whoa, like they've really erased this guy.
Spoilers, you hated this movie, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like smack dab in the middle of you. There's so many really, really cool stuff.
Yeah,
that
and
I'm
then
like,
right
fuck yeah, that's
after
great.
he had the-
And then it's just garbage for 40 minutes.
You said
and
slow burn,
Yeah.
slow tickle. Like, it doesn't burn
slow
Okay.
gentleman trying to light the match for 2 hours.
and failing.
Yeah.
And then
Well-
the tip breaks off, and we all are sad.
But, I mean, yeah.
Well, I don't mind movies like that. Like, there's a movie I really like by Ty West called The Innkeepers.
okay.
And that's a
Tom.
I really like those movies.
Nothing happens in the entire runtime of this movie.
No, this
No,
starts to
they-
have intrigue, like what's happening, and
That fizzles.
is the journalist going to find out what happened?
The only thing that happened is that a car jumped off a bridge.
Yes, and right after
helicopters
that
chased a
scene.
plane. Those were the only moments that happened. Everything else was just room noise changing. It went from to back to
Okay, so that's how you saw it. I was very intrigued, especially like when they're
hold on. The
talking-
scene's changing.
Okay, you clearly did not like this movie at all.
It was.
I liked it.
It wasn't a movie.
I liked this movie. I really was interested in it and what was going to happen. Like when they're saying like, oh, they're getting back on the plane. Like, okay, you're going to be landing now. And then halfway there, we see that the heat shield separated. So they're like, oh, we have to kill these people now.
Yeah. Like, that's really kind of interesting. It's just done for me in the most boring way.
Every time you think
And then he
something,
eats a snake.
every time
He
you
does eat a
think
snake.
something's gonna happen,
They do it in the
doesn't.
worst way. Yeah. That's
You thought he was going to fight the snake. He did fight the snake.
I thought since they were walking past all those guys that were like on the computer monitors, I thought each one of those guys is gonna get picked off. You know, we're gonna get a montage of people just hanging out at the grocery store and just like being spirited away. Nope.
because that would have been fun.
Yeah. No. They escape the building. They take the plane away. Oh God, they land the plane at some international airport, but security's there, so they have to dip into security.
Yep.
And then they go into the actual like hangar, or not hangar, but like the terminal proper, and like start, we're here, we're alive. As security's like changing. Nope. They give up on that. They go up into the plane and they crash in the desert. Oh, now it's a survival thing. They have to dodge these like kill squads that
Yeah,
are trying
kinda.
to hunt them. Nope. No. No.
well, the helicopters.
They walk for 30 minutes where nothing happens, and then helicopters pick them up.
But don't forget, Sam, we're intercutting with that with the
detective
detective
story.
story. For that's
the
70%
main story.
of the end.
Right.
Is the fucking detective who I don't give a fuck about.
See, I did. I cared about him finding the answer.
But there was nothing to give a fuck about. Nothing.
He had to
He
figure
didn't
out
do
why the
anything.
government got rid of his friend.
He's like, my friend is gone.
He was
Oh,
trying to tell me
no!
something. They tried to
He
kill me.
boringly looks at an apartment, then leaves. The only exciting thing happens in the movie is car crashes. And then after that, he just swims away and talks to his boss. And there's a boring speech. And then he's like, okay. And then police walk into his home. They don't beat him up. They just plant some evidence. And he's like, okay, I'll go with you without any problems. I'm not going to try to escape. Cut to him being let out of jail. And his boss is like, you're fired.
Yeah. And then he's like, okay, they got me fired.
Right,
They,
but
want me
at
off
each
the
one
trail.
of these moments, something could have happened other than boring people kind of talking and room noise changing.
I liked the intrigue. I liked it. I liked the whole journey of the pieces falling into place and them trying to.
I know you
these
think you liked
stories.
it.
So OJ and the guy from Law and Order get picked off.
Yeah.
By the
No,
government.
they don't get picked off. They get picked up. It's like being picked off, but more boring.
So we see them light off their flares and they're
which
gone.
means they're dead. Like, hey, also those flares are really close. They didn't walk that far away from each other. The two main characters die. Eventually, detective finds a guy, A&A, crop dusting, who's fucking annoying.
Yep.
They get on a plane. They rescue him from the two helicopters. So during the government funeral for these fallen astronauts, one of the astronauts shows up and people are kind of turning, going, what? Huh? They run in slow motion, freeze frame, credits.
End of movie, which is that's a bit disappointing because we don't figure out what happened.
Again, we don't need any more of this movie, but I really would have liked to have seen something, some sort of consequences.
Well, yeah, they could have filled that blank space with
action, adventure, comedy, something, anything.
Anything.
Not to always talk about pro wrestling, and I'm sorry, but it's the thing of like a bad guy's a bad guy for a month, and then he gets his comeuppance like at a show, and it's like, yeah, the good guy won, and then he's back on the show the next day, and he's still a bad guy, and there's no consequences to what happened. Like, that's always kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of storytelling of like, we didn't see any consequences. I would have loved to have seen something of the government getting locked up, of him getting a heroic moment with his family, fucking anything.
Or seeing them do a cover-up.
Yeah, that would have been fun too.
No, I agree. That was the part I didn't like.
No, it was ridiculous.
It was just the ending.
You know what's worse than that? The defense's decision to have OJ try on the glove, because they took the gloves and then froze them, which I think they made like shrunk the leather a little bit because it was still
once
covered
leather
in
gets
glove.
wet and then dries, it also
Yep.
shrinks.
They had OJ put on a rubber glove as well. I don't know if you've ever tried putting on something over a rubber glove. It's like fucking impossible. There was also a story that while OJ was being held in prison during the trial, he stopped taking his arthritis medicine.
Yeah.
And that
So
made
his
his
hands
hands
up.
would swell up.
So all those factors combined.
All of those
plug
factors
and fit.
combined. And also, like, this isn't the best example of his acting skills, but, like, decent actor. So, in some
I
of his
have to
stuff,
disagree with you there.
compared to athletes, he at least has acting training. Decent actor is bad, but, like, he has experience with acting.
You know, he killed two.
He did murder those two people. But also, like, if you're doing that and that's going to put you away, you're going to try every fucking thing you can to not make that glove fit.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying that his acting might
of
have-
like really trying it on. I heard someone describe it like a dude trying to put on a condom, of being like, nah, my dick's too big, girl. See, no, I can't. Oh, it's not gonna work. That kind of thing. Like, he's really trying. He's stretching out his hands. He's like he can't get a grip on it. He's like, oh fuck. He's like shrugging the shoulders to the jury, being like, well, fuck, I can't. I don't know. I'll keep trying it, I guess, but I don't know. Like, that shit.
Did they ever find the real killer?
OJ did say he was going to dedicate his life trying to find it, and then has spent the last couple years of his life golfing. A civil trial found the real killer. Spoilers, it was OJ.
O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
Murder's better than a divorce because they can't take half your shit.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really need to wrap up, but
This is an interesting question.
it is, isn't it?
Just because I had my little realization last episode of the thing we watched, it felt worse in the moment, but in reflection wasn't as bad as a previous thing we've watched.
Sure.
And I wanted to bounce it off you guys. Have we, of just the run of movies we've done for this show, was there one that was worse than this one?
Turbulence.
This one is such a weird unicorn of a movie because I love the concept. I like space stuff, and I like the idea of faking the Mars landing. I like the idea. This movie on paper, fuck yeah, that sounds awesome. In execution, there's like 2 minutes where I was like, oh, okay. I liked seeing the set. That was neat.
Yeah.
I liked... I liked the set. The set is kind of... That was neat. Everything else is just a slog to get through, unfortunately.
This is by far the worst thing we've ever watched. I would give this like 2 cents for the kind of cool plane helicopter chase and the sped up car footage. Those are the only 2 moments that didn't feel numbingly bad. Boring. So boring.
I think I like to look at the bigger picture of sitting here with my bros and being like, I got this movie you could sit and have fun making fun of, but it'll cost you $1. I would say no. So maybe
How much money?
like 50 cents maybe. I loved making OJ jokes with you guys. I like sitting here making fun of movies with you. So I think my money value will always be higher.
All right, I would give it the whole $1. I really actually
okay.
like this movie.
I knew you liked it. I didn't know if you were going to give it the whole
Oh,
$1
yeah.
though.
Only part I did not like was the ending and the fact that us talking made me miss some of the dialogue.
Oh man. Well, you can keep it. You can rewatch it if you want.
I might actually do that.
Okay,
I did
cool.
like it.
So us having fun in the face of this shitty movie
Inhibited his
ruined
experience.
his experience.
Made his dollar
That's-
value less.
I almost can't accept that. That's bullshit.
I'm sorry. I
Like there's
did
a
like
guy
it.
with guns on the back. When the
He
fuck
doesn't
does that
have
happen?
guns. He's just holding out his hands.
Would you give it more than $1?
Maybe, but I don't know how much more.
$1.20.
Yeah, maybe $1.20.
Dollar-
I think $1.25.
5 quarters.
Yeah, I liked it.
$1.50.
It was a
6
hunk,
quarters.
It was a hunk of shit.
I am sorry you feel that way.
I'm sorry you're really wrong. I'm really sorry that you feel compelled to be this wrong.
It's okay.
It's
I accept
so
that.
I hated this so much. I would have preferred the first movie we watched.
Wow.
This was a nothing. It had
I think we need
nothing.
to rename this series as The Quest to find a movie that Sam would give $1
Yeah,
to.
very much.
Because we're 0 for 5 right now.
Oh, yeah.
I think I've given 2 or 3.
Well, because you're a cheap date. Really a
Yeah.
cheap date. And you don't want to offend anybody.
Well, I
even
like
though
movies. I've seen
Nobody who made this gives a shit.
I've seen
no.
a lot worse than this in my life.
Yeah, but you consume media at a light
Non-stop.
speed pace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a question that might get you murdered tonight.
What's
this
up?
might turn you into OJ. Is this the best thing we've watched?
No,
so
this
far?
is second though behind Returner.
Okay. We were gonna do a series called We Watch Weeb Shit. We were basically gonna do this where we watch like first 3 episodes of like an anime.
Oh, the college try.
Yeah.
I think that was the more.
It's taken by a podcast. It makes me so sad.
Oh,
it's
of course
like a
it is.
football podcast. Fucking stupid. But I like We Watch Weeb Shit where we just watch anime.
Anime, or I have a ton of foreign movies I can
we just-
call upon.
Can we just give up on having like a YouTube career and just put shit in titles and stuff? Because SEO isn't
Yeah,
good.
no,
when
no,
you
we're-
start putting
we're-
shit in
we're
titles,
fucked.
but like, who cares?
Yeah,
We're all gonna die.
I'm all about it.
Might as well have some fun.
Yeah. Good note to end on.
I think I'm gonna start saying the N word too, if that's the case.
we can talk about that off air.
Okay, bye.
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 Oh, Tom,
Yeah.
so bad, dude.
I like this movie.